Alright, you guys. I'm going to have to pay attention to this recorder because I was talking and it just turned right on off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my secondary voice recorder on this just so I won't, because I remembered some things. And then, okay, I'm setting my secondary voice recorder so just in case this cut off, I would have still recorded what I've said. Alright, so I have a dream. I am in a house, house with unsecure doors and with children and a man. There is, we all walk outside and we walk outside and we notice, or I notice, a flock of birds, white birds, all different sizes. I see them flying in, and I said within myself, these birds are flying in from the sea onto land. They are not supposed to be doing this. Why are they doing this? These birds in the sky, it's a flock of birds, a migration of birds. They all begin to make a U-turn and they head towards these mountain ranges, very high mountain ranges. And they were with almost a steep drop mountain type range, very huge, right in front of this house we were in, with these children and this gentleman. And so I look, and all of a sudden we hear me, the gentleman, and the children. Now it seems like some parts of the dream it's me in the dream, and in some parts it's a woman, and I'm on the outside looking in while these people are having this experience. So that's how the dream is making me, that's how I feel in the dream. And so we're looking, and we all of a sudden, she feels, or I feel, that there is a wall of water headed for us. We begin to hear loud explosions, like a war coming toward us. Within the mountain range, there is a war. And then we're hearing the war, and we're looking for and waiting for a wall of water. And we were sensing the wall of water coming, and we could hear the war. And so she wants to make a hike towards the mountains to at least get to the midpoint of the mountain, so she could see over the cliffs to see whether or not she could see this wall of water coming. But as she's thinking this, also another part of the dream is one set of birds in this flock, and also there was a baby bird in the flock while they were flying from the sea towards the land. One of the baby birds are struggling. But a part of the bird flock, one portion of the birds went to the highest point of the mountain, and the second portion of the birds went to the midpoint of the mountain. And she wondered why. If they knew the wall of water was coming, why would the birds go to the midpoint of the mountain and not to the highest point? And I think I remember her feeling or thinking, well, maybe it's because they know the level of the water, so that's why they're at the midpoint of the mountain, this steep mountain. So as she's wanting to go to the midpoint of the mountain to see if she could even take a peek over to see where is this wall of water, there is a breakout of war. But these men are in civilian clothing. They are in civilian clothing with guns in their hands. So as soon as we see these men, this me, the children, and this gentleman, we run back in the house. The children are screaming. They are in panic. They are crying. We had to calm these children down. The TV was loud. The TV was loud. It was on. I had to, okay, then it goes back to where it was now me in the dream. I had to turn the TV off. I had to turn the TV off. I had to turn, when I turned one part of the TV off, it was still loud and on. Then I turned the second part of it off. And I ran around the house, calming the children down. I said, you guys need to be quiet. Be quiet. I calmed them down. We calmed them all the way down. All the way down. And all of a sudden, it went to me asking this person in this house, what did they build an underground bunker or shelter? And they said they never could afford to. All of a sudden, now I'm no longer this person in the dream. I'm looking at her. And she starts to put cement in unusual places. Like she put cement in the toilet and she was actually making an underground shelter within this house. But it ended up not being an underground shelter, you guys. First it'd be like she was trying to dig a hole in the ground. And she was putting cement around the walls of the hole in the ground, but it was just too small. It was small enough it was big enough maybe for a small child to fit in. But it was just, I'm, thinking like, this is too small. Maybe she should do it deeper. All of a sudden, she cemented the entire house to where there was no furniture left. There was nothing but cement everywhere in the house. The floor of the house was all cement. And they shut all the windows and they put the curtains to the edge of the windows so no one could peek in. And I remember that the men of war in civilian clothing, they all surrounded the house looking inside. And but only a moment it seemed like they were going to pass the house by because there was no one in the house, it appeared to them. And I kept telling the children, get lower. All of the children were underneath the window sills, ducking down. I kept telling the children, get lower, 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 lower. And one of the children did not listen. They peeked and saw. But these men were not Americans. They looked like they were either Asian men or Korean men. They were either Asian men or Korean men. They were of Oriental descent. And when he saw the children, all of a sudden the children turned into his nationality. So the children that were in the house, I didn't notice their nationality at first. But when this man outside with this other group of men, looking at inside the house to see was anybody in the house, and at first the men thought there was no one in the house because they noticed it was nothing but cement. It was nothing in the house, and they were about to leave. But this little boy would not listen. He would not duck all the way down. He actually lifted up a little bit and put himself in sight for this other man to see. And he called to the other soldiers. And when he called to the other soldiers, he held up his face as if to say that the children in this house look like me. The children in this house look like me. When he was calling, I didn't hear him say that. But as he was calling to the other soldiers to say now there is someone in this house, he lifted up his face as if to say, but their faces look like my faces. And our cover was blown. And that's when I woke up. Now there's other parts to this dream that I think that was a distraction. It was a distraction. So that's my dream, saints.